Right, the next person we're going to have is Pastor Dan Asuncion. Danny is a pastor in Bukidnon. Danny, please join us.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here at the webinar. And for backgrounders, I work at Natidasan Christian Community Church.
Thanks for joining us.
The time I've been cut off, and so I'm sorry about that. But I was just trying to give a background of the work that we do at Natidasan, which started way back in 2006, 14 years ago. The Lord allowed me and my family to start to work among pineapple plantation farmers in the area. Natidasan is a rural part of Malaybalay, about 3 kilometers from the city proper. And as of today, we have about 500 families composed mostly of low-income families. Before this COVID season, the NCCC, as our work is being known here, did community outreach with the Department of Education through the alternative learning system among the out-of-school youth in the village and the inmates of the nearby provincial jail system. We also collaborated with the extension program of the Bukidnon State University and the Department of Agriculture to do multi-literacy training in organic gardening and the marketing of our local backyard produce. Cell phone use amongst our church members ever since we started has been the means by which we reach out to each other in this area where there were no telephone lines. But then last year, the PLDT company put in place a fiber optic cable bringing in Wi-Fi mainly to the newly established Provincial Detention and Rehabilitation Center here in Natidasan. But as of today, only a few homes have availed of the said Wi-Fi service due to affordability. So Natidasan, I believe, is your typical rural village in the Philippines where everyone wants to link up to the internet. The rural folks of today, especially the young people, hardly need any convincing when it comes to owning a cell phone. Everyone wants to know about...
Go ahead, Danny.
Okay, so everyone wants to know about Facebook and YouTube in our barrio. But thanks to cheaper cell phone models, almost every household can have a cell phone for the basic call and text facility. For as little as about 500 or less pesos, they can now own a cell phone, mobile cell phone. According to Philippine statistics, last year, there were some 41 million cell phone users in the Philippines. About 32% of those users use smartphones, about 13 million of them. We are a country of 110 million Filipinos. So we can say that still a vast majority of our people who live in the countrysides make use of the mobile phone as a means of connecting to the world. So I should say that the more reliable way to connect with our people today is mainly through mobile phones.
All right, Danny. Yeah. What methods have you found to be most useful reaching your community? They're spread out everywhere, they're rural. What methods are you using to reach these 500 families?
Okay, with the restrictions brought about by the pandemic, I praise God for giving us this basic cell phone facility. This to me is very useful. If we just suppose it to the basic communication that the believers had when they started to obey the Lord's call way back in the 1st century, we can really say we're in the 21st century, the so-called information age. The basic mobile phone, I believe, is very potent tool we can all use to maximize means to do discipleship and evangelism in our communities. You can really use the basic phone to connect not only locally but internationally. Filipino families have made use of this, even received messages and financial assistance from their OFW family members. Now, what I have done is to write out and print out Bible study materials, mostly in Cebuano, our heart language, and I distribute it to our community members. I chunk out the materials into short cell phone messages. And what I do now, I discovered that we also can use, of course, Facebook and Messenger apps. But what I learned is that the photo files that are readable on the mobile phones cannot be accessed by the simple mobile phone. So I learned from our members. What I do now is we have made use of the um, free text and free only text and only phone call method on the basic cell phone to transfer our files, which is mostly on text files. So those chunked out messages are sent out as text messages, short messages. But still, we can have Sunday school and Bible lessons in our homes. And we praise God that from the one assembly hall that we had, we are now spread out to 12 different local homes and gathering regularly to do Bible and prayer time together.
Danny, before you used to gather them in your church building, which I've been to, right now, are you saying that it's kind of like outreach 12 other places because of COVID? Was it because of
Yes,
COVID?
yes, because of COVID, we have been restricted from gathering. Like our city mayor just sent out an executive order that less than 10 can, not more than 10 can gather in our church building. So what's the use of going to the building when you can gather in homes?
Do
And
you
even
think,
in
Danny, that because they're in homes, you will reach more people because they could invite neighbors and the kids could come in? Is it going to be more or less? What do you think?
more, definitely more people can come in now. Because they, in fact, just for the past 3 Sundays, we also have warmed up. For those who are able to afford gadgets, we are also using Zoom gatherings. So by this, we can encourage many more. But the basic, to me, the basic method for us is really the discipleship materials that we sent out as short messages through the text.
Wonderful. Danny, in the year to the end of this year, how do you see this expansion of your church? All right. How do you see it? Do you see it growing numerically? Do you see it going deeper in discipleship? How do you see it?
Yeah, I believe deeper in discipleship and of course numerically as we encourage our church people to do. In fact, I'm glad that we are all looking into practical ways to do ministry at these COVID times. And I think we should encourage and guide all our church members to make use of the simple mobile phones to connect with their friends and loved ones. If we can just disciple them, create probably materials, come up with a standard form where they can use it to connect with their friends instead of just playing games with their mobile phones. Use it as a text brigade for Christ. If we can organize our churches to do this, I believe we can reach many more. Of the 110 million Filipinos, only so much can afford cell phones. So the basic bulk of our people are still in the countrysides. And in fact, they are decongesting Manila, bringing back people to the provinces. And cell phones, I believe, is the way to go in the future. Still,
Yeah. Wonderful. Danny, I agree with you 100% that, the cities will empty out, okay? All cities in the world will empty out. People go back to the provinces. So your encouragement to us is very, very wonderful. Thank you very much, Danny, for being with us. And
thank you,
later
Doc.
at Q&A time, if you all have Q&A about how to reach your people through just a simple cell phone, Danny would probably be the man. I'm so thankful to see him working extremely hard. All right, now we thanks so much, Danny, for joining
Thank you,
us
sir.
at Q&A. We'll see you again.